All right, thanks for staying with us. Uti is back. Uti Elu, welcome. You look colorful.
As always.
Yes.
I'm the only one in black today.
Which is strange. Because you wear colors and patterns a lot.
All right, so tell us first about
Uti.
Uti.
It was funny that myself and Lady actually have matched today because I was going to wear this.
The green part, yes.
This fabric.
Next time, follow the spirit. Please. Because now your car, I'm using you as a point of contact. Please, next time, follow the spirit too. Let us put it out in the universe.
All right, Uti, you had a very interesting story for us quickly.
So yeah, cholera, a disease that has been eradicated in parts of the world, is still killing Nigerians. So 91 people dying in 30 weeks by Nigerian standards might seem like a small number, but this is a disease that is due to dirty water. Like, it shouldn't exist. It's cured by ORT solution. So when you hear it, it's heartbreaking. But this is what we.
And they say that so we have over 3,000 cases.
3,610 cases. So 30 weeks is about circa what, 6 months? 6 months.
And 91 people have died from the disease.
Already.
Wow, it is well. All right, so referencing an article by Adedamola Adebamigbe, the enduring tension between science and religion has played a critical role in expanding the frontiers of knowledge in recent times, and given the advancement in learning, the turgid relationship is thawing, and issues of mutual agreement have been more commonplace. Yet areas of suspicion still exist. Now, one of these is the application of scientific methods of reproduction in humans. Much as these procedures have helped put smiles on many couples, some churches sees them as immoral, controversial, and disrespectful of the essence of creation. Now, this subject forms the basis of the declaration of Reverend Father Joseph Obada, a priest of the Catholic Archdiocese of Abuja. Father Obada, who had undertaken extensive studies on the subject of procreation and life, and combines theology and church tradition with the science of life ethics, had explained to some guy in an interview, right? His name is Bangkok Obi, right? In an interview, why the alternative natural resources developed to tackle infertility should be encouraged rather than the seemingly fast, flashy ways that a section of the pharmaceuticals and birth interest science community promotes. So today we're asking, are IVF and surrogacy morally wrong? Let's just hear your thoughts about this. Now, please, you can join us the conversation. Let's hear what you have to say. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. You can also tweet at us at PlusTvAfrica1 with the hashtag #WaysShow. And you shall deliver like the Hebrew woman. That line has caused a lot of troubles, right? Until somebody then explained that to me, saying that, see, the Hebrew women, what had happened was they had assisted birth, maiden, what they call them, midwives,
yes,
that would help them
like
birth the child
before
the people came. So it didn't.
Okay.
It's not
they
like
didn't make noise.
Yes,
People just went around.
They had assistance, so people just say you should deliver like the Hebrew woman. You should deliver like the Hebrew woman. A lot of women have turned down cesarean sessions. They've turned down assistance because in their head, delivering like the Hebrew woman was you're going to birth your child by yourself. You're going to do all of those things. I mean, this is just one out of many conversations that go around birth. You have seen people say that because she didn't give birth through the vagina, it is not this thing, God forbid it, I reject CS.
Yoruba even have a saying that translates to the way a leaf falls off a tree without inconveniencing the tree. That's how you are going to deliver.
Birth,
they think it's a big deal if they say you should have a CS.
A cesarean session.
And people die waiting.
I mean, this is the ones that have successfully been able to even get pregnant. Now, there are so many women that if you look at their structure, the way they are designed, they are not able to carry a child for 9 months. But these women have the capacity to be able to reproduce the eggs that would eventually be fertilized to bring up a child. So are you saying that you deprive those women, if an option came for them to now have a child through someone else, I mean, I remember when my sister got married. I didn't even know then that my husband had already by himself made a conclusion by himself that he knew that I was going to come to tell him that I wanted to carry my sister's children in my. So he had prepared his mind even before.
If you needed to help her carry.
If I needed to help her carry, because he understood her health condition, and it was just by God's grace and mercy that she was able to carry those twins and birth them and all of that. It was a lot of. I know how I lost weight praying and fasting on top of that matter. So if there are options for a woman to go through maybe surrogacy, or maybe if she's not able to conceive naturally and she then is assisted scientifically through IVF, are we now saying that it is wrong for that woman to take up that option?
I would say that personally, based on what I've been exposed to, I may be right, I may be wrong, it seems peculiar with the Catholic faith.
Okay.
They don't approve of contraceptives. They don't approve of abortion if it wasn't for, even if you conceived as a result of rape. They're very strict about their rules. They don't approve of divorce regardless of what the issues are. Maybe they're changing now with the new pope that we have. He is more open-minded. Things may be changing. It would negate the work that our darling Ibidu Igudalu stood for. Trying to help people with IVF, funding and everything. I think go with what your faith supports. But for me, as for me and my household, whatever help you can get. When God has given, because I'm a Christian, so I will go by that. When God has given people the wisdom to figure out how to help people, carry in incubators, transfer fetus into something else that is even artificial, why not take it?
Give me your thoughts, Norma, then I'll come to Uti.
The question is IVF and surrogacy morally wrong, and I think in this case there's no right or wrong answer. It is dependent on people's views, people's values, and people's principles, right? And to him his own, to everyone his own.
You can't catch Norma.
No. Let me.
Sorry, I just needed to put that out there. I said you cannot catch you.
It's not a case. I need to correct that notion. It's not a case of politically correct. It is, again, you call me Madam Consideration.
Okay.
There are people are at different points in their lives. I cannot imagine what someone has been through trying to have children, because I've not been in that position
at all,
and I can't judge that person based on the fact that I had it
easy.
Not easy per se, but I had it was possible for me to not go through that process. Do you understand? So it's the same way that I am coming with my understanding. Before now, I could have said it was morally wrong, but I think, in my opinion, that science is there for a reason. If it wasn't there to solve problems, to help us understand the world that we're in, there are things that would not have been possible. The world as we know it today would not have been possible. So I believe in science, but I also believe in everyone's understanding and principles and values that govern or give them some sense of peace and balance. So if people need to go through IVF, it's okay, because it is an alternative. If I hear this priest, well, from what I have read so far, it is that what he was trying to say is that he's encouraging natural alternative sources more, because they don't tell you everything that goes with some of these scientific alternatives. So some people have it seamless. Some other people have stories that came with their IVF experiences or surrogacy. It is not a seamless process in most cases, right? But it's an option, right? If you can avoid, unfortunately, the world is not as simple as that anymore. Things have become more complicated. The way it was for back in the days where it was the next thing the woman has taken in, there are midwives to assist you in your process of delivery and all of those things. Things have changed. Food, the world, gases, things have changed now. Things are not as straightforward as before. Even young people, not those days, it was like as you get older, it's difficult for you to conceive. But now we have even young people in their 20s, in their 30s, and they're declared clinically incompetent
or unable to carry.
So I believe there's a place where science plays a significant role and has helped majority of people to enjoy the joys of motherhood. Has it been also abused? Yes, because in everything there's always the number, there's always the good, there's always the bad, there's always the ugly. There are people now who have already planned. They don't even, it's not a case of, oh, I'm barren, oh, some people have already planned, oh, I don't even want to go through the process of natural delivery.
Let me do
I want to just freeze my eggs, you know, I want to remain I want to just remain like this, and when it's time I go shopping, pick some
the sex, the baby,
even the lineage. Maybe it's a billionaire's lineage. Fuse it, and then find someone who will carry it and all of that. So that is my position.
Okay, so let me hear
Uti waiting like the last leg.
I remember the very first show we ever, it never aired because it was like a test show for Ways, a pilot. When we were running the show, I remember us having one lady. I think I will have to go and look for her contact details and see if we can bring her. It was on surrogacy. I mean, it was such a beautiful story that, you know, I just said, oh wow.
It was her story.
She was a surrogate mother, and she was explaining. And again, as a surrogate mother, she can only do it 3 times in her life. Yeah, and she was explaining how the process,
joy to be able to help someone.
Watching the parents of the newborn when they take the newborn away from her. I mean, the baby as she had just had for them, she actually carried quadruplets. Like,
wow!
Yes, that was the expression we had. It was quadruplets. You know, I'll try to see if we can fish that video. But
you have to.
I have to also find that guest.
Those who do very first they call it
pilot that we shot. We thought we were going to air it, but hey, that's an aside.
No, you have to.
Let me come to you, Uti. IVF surrogacy, right? I mean, for someone that has had a child, if given an option, what would be your preference in terms of birthing a child? And would you consider this, you know, morally wrong, or how do you call it, inadmissible? I've been waiting the priest to come.
Not morally
admissible. Yeah. Let me hear your thoughts.
Okay. It's a bit of a catch-22 situation because the question is a bit separate from the concept of morality versus wanting a child, having a child. Many roads lead to market. Whether it's right or wrong, morally admissible, is that what you said? Yeah. That's the question. We have gotten to a world where we define right or wrong, good or bad, values. It's gray. If you say this thing is white, it's white to you. If you say it's gray,
it's gray to me.
My truth.
My truth. Perspectives. Thank you. Whatever the different terms and, you know, synonyms you want to give it. When I first saw this headline, I thought to myself, and to be fair, it's a long story. It's a long read. But the thing that I took away from it was you kind of have to separate it. Science has the ability to do lots of wonderful things. A lot of the life we live today, science and technology has helped us to come really far. But we cannot, in the face of that, speak to the fact that it also has its negatives and its downsides. There are people till tomorrow who will swear, black, blue, brown, that COVID was genetically engineered. there are places that are arid lands today and plants cannot be planted because genetically modified crops were planted there. The impact of air travel and greenhouse gases on our atmosphere and global warming, all of these
Carbon
things
emissions,
are consequences of these advancements. So whether or not a woman has a child is, for me, not where I want to focus on the conversation. I think you have said everything that needs to be said. It comes to the ethical part of when does science go too far. All of you at this table have talked about the joys of having a child, and you've talked about it from the perspective of what we still see the nuclear family as a heterosexual relationship.
I see where you're going.
Now, like you said, some people are choosing to have CS. Some people are choosing, you know what? Hey ho, why do I need to get married if I can have a child and just do me? Peace. Again, it's because you have said your truth is your truth. So, today, what day did we have the show when we were talking about
sex change?
Sex changes and
Same-sex couples.
We have normalized. So now, you watch certain TV shows and you see two dads and a child. How did you have the dad? There was surrogacy.
And a daughter for that matter.
So it becomes, like I said, the ethical side of the conversation that says, when you look at it from the perspective of a man and a woman who have tried all options and there is no option and this becomes the last resort, then you can justify it. But when it becomes a point where not only, and you brought in faith, not only are we asking of God, we are now playing God. So you go today, maybe there is me and my husband, we've been trying for 10 years, and then we go and do surrogacy, then we all stand in church and we go, praise the Lord, hallelujah. Then you come to the people who go, naturally, shouldn't have a baby. Like if you're going to freeze your eggs, you're not allowed to, well, in places where it is well regulated, you can't freeze your eggs beyond the age of, like once you hit 35, that's it. You can't harvest your eggs because that's like
it's a
your
high risk.
Yeah, exactly, high risk.
Yeah.
So the quality of you can carry a child, your womb is there to whatever. It's the quality of the eggs. You start to risk things like Down syndrome and all sorts of things. Biology, nature puts checks in place for certain reasons. There was a movie, World War Z.
Yes.
The scientist in there said, Mother Nature is the biggest serial killer because when she knows how to regulate herself, when you do pass yourself, she finds a way to wipe people and balance it out.
True.
So when we start to talk about it, I start to ask myself, I remember the day somebody said that they wanted to do IVF, they had gone, they had chosen the sex, the gender, they had chosen the eye color, the book, and I'm like, you literally just built a cyborg.
Created some.
Ew. That is you playing God.
True.
So when you draw the line, let us start to look at the ways in which we've all seen, if you're a fan of sci-fi movies, we've all seen people have gone to town, created viruses, wiped out extinction, all sorts. In fact, there was one I watched last night that was about time travel. And these are all fiction. But we've all seen how it can easily go wrong. And you see, the thing is that where do you draw the line that this one is okay and this one is not okay?
Who gets to decide?
I love the explanation that he used in the story around fetuses and said, you're going to use fetuses to create vaccines. They'll say, no, it's not. It's morally wrong on the fetus. But then you're creating the same fetus and moving on. So it is a hard line to draw, which is what I'm trying to say. So for me, the question now is on how you define morality. Okay. I understand that you need to have kids, but just understand that in having option A, some other people will take your well-meaning option A all the way to option Z.
And you can't say anything.
And the definition of whether Z A is now better than Z or more morally right than Z, we'll be lost in translation.
God
And
help
we take
you.
ourselves to
that
court
note,
on his own weight kind of
let's
controversial
take a break.
topics.
Uti don't finish. Uti has given me a headache already.
In fact, the English is too much for me.
Stay with us. No, it's not English. I understand the English. It's the headache.
I've
Stay with
never
us.
heard English.
We'll be right back. Alright, thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, it's our ladies' night out, and we're discussing the topic: are IVF and surrogacy morally wrong? Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-8663. You can also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. Our phone line is now open. The number to call is 07025007749. Again, 07025007749. Please remember the rules. Turn down, just turn it off, the volume of your television or whatever set you're watching us from. Okay, so why I said Uti has given me headache is because now, when you look at it, and that's where I think the priest was driving at that conversation.
Yes.
So it is okay for you to say, but look at it holistically and look at it how it is being used, or would I put in something,
or how it could be misused.
Do you understand? Yeah. Because that is exactly where the priest was driving at. Because, I could sense some level of fear, where we start to play God. Because I like that part where you said we start to play God, because really, it gets to the point where it's almost like I can have everything that I want.
The way I want it.
Do you understand? Now you are selecting the hips that you want. You're selecting the kind of teeth that you want. You're selecting everything that you want. You can literally recreate yourself from nothing. You can recreate yourself based on, And so if you understand even the principle of life in itself, right? So I get that fear. But you see, why say Uti has given me headache? I don't even know what question I want to ask after what you have laid.
Let me put it this
way. So I want to ask now, right? When you talked about what defines morality, can we even attempt to even say, okay, what should be morally acceptable? You know what? Hold on. Let me take our first caller, then I'll come back to you. Be thinking about it. Loma, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Good evening. Welcome.
Loma is going to blast us now.
Volume.
I want to align myself with that man. See, it has been me. I'm one of the people that is against that IVF. With that IVF and surrogacy, you see a man carrying baby now. It has been abused. Men carry baby now. And first, because knowledge has increased, as in the book of Daniel, people do all sorts of things, and people are playing God. Now, some people go and fertilize another man's egg, use it into another woman's womb, and it becomes, somebody will come out and say, "Bless the Lord on Sunday," and shout, and dedicate the baby. I'm telling you, people have gone haywire in that area. So I don't support it, I don't like it, because some of the problems that lead to this IVF is as a result of some people, the way they live their life. Some people have a natural occurrence in their home. But if you will do IVF, as a result of natural thing that comes to you as a problem, naturally that comes to you, maybe you are not the cause of it, it is not your lifestyle that brought it to you, I think I can support it somehow. But the way people are doing it, they are now telling them they can carry your baby at any point in time. And there was a time, one of the celebrities said that she doesn't even need a man. She is going to carry. It is wrong.
She didn't find a man.
God is against it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. She didn't say she didn't need a man. A man hadn't come at the time that you know how they say biological clock is ticking. By the time that you get to that, may it not be your portion. Because you don't know the trauma it causes for women who have advanced in age and they're like, if I haven't found an ideal partner, at least let me birth a child. I can't stand judge or jury over anybody. And I pray they all find their happiness. Let God judge us all.
So how do we now start to define morally wrong? Because it's interesting that you mentioned the particular movie. I watched an animation recently, but I can't remember which it was. So I think upon the 7th kiss or something, the man gets pregnant.
Okay.
So the man now gets pregnant. They didn't show us how he birthed the child, but he eventually birthed the child. And he did not birth one, he birthed like maybe 7 of the children, because it was human and alien. Okay. She was the alien and he was human. You know, so I mean, when you begin to see these elements in different kinds of movies and all of that, it tells you that
science is already
there's a lot that is going on around that sector. That's why I said the headache that you brought is plenty, because now you are not only changing sexes and all of that, you're completely changing the structure of biology like we know it. But God was the one that laid the foundation of wisdom in us as human beings.
So let me just read an excerpt very quickly of the article that speaks to what you just said. Because when you see it from the headline, you think that it's just coming from a place of faith. So he says, understand that yes, science cannot be completely divorced from faith. However, science and faith should lend themselves to each other in a way that we can come to a consensus. And by that, we can come to a more humane and sane society where advancements in technology, but at the same time, where advancements in technology remain, but at the same time, we are not offending the anthropology of man and the theology of man. The reason is that at the end of the day, even if you don't believe in God, you didn't create yourself.
Hold that thought. Let me take youngest old man. I read that part too. Stay, youngest old man, you're live. Listen, stay with us. Hi. Nigeria calling.
See your flag here.
So in this case, that is nature called obey. The issue is that if you sit with a woman that is desperate and her clock is ticking and the pressure is on and the money is there, the ability is there, her sense of reasoning will be different with what who are just designed now that we kill my spirit. She should talk herself, everybody calm down. You understand? But for me, I have to be fair to the desperate one, to the wicked one, to the unfavored one. Everybody wants to give them like the evil woman. But if that one don't go, it will take the one way they take over. Apart from those that abuse the system and abuse the privilege, like God give that brain who take get brain so who all to this level. You understand? But
we talk.
We just have to understand it that this is, I know, this is what I saw sometime with one of the banks, I don't call the name, that they say one day cats will drive on water. You know, when I saw that advert some years back, I was like, I just want to joke, you know. And today cats drive on water. So things will be changing, things will be evolving. Because a lot of things that I'm seeing now online and other things that I don't want to say on national TV. And I think that the future is even more delicate than we think. But for me, I just believe that anything that works for you, go. But you understand the consequences. Because that picture will come out. You're not going to be like that picture with the guy muscle. It's not going easy because that system is not there. I don't think you'll be seeing any picking in the dream and they'll be giving you a name by the angels. So we need to understand all these things. There's consequences for every action. That's my own understanding. But I like your talk. Is it coming?
Sorry, please, before we put our wisdom to cap it, let me say this. That anything that works for you is very dangerous because now the alphabet people are saying that being pedophilic works for them.
Attracted.
Right?
And a minor attracted.
You heard the woman that was fighting for their cause. So that anything works for you, please.
You have to be
infuse
careful.
it in
So
your...
and it was funny that you were thinking in that way because I just thought that, look, let's, from all that we have seen in the evolution of science and technology, we can all agree that we never start. So tomorrow, I have a friend who says that if he can just live for the next 30 years, he knows he will never die because he is sure that by the time he gets there, they would have come up with a way. So the way you talk about it, that if a woman they really, really wants a child, this is just an example. It's okay, after all, it's just birthing a child, which is great. This is a harmless side of it. But the day a scientist that has the means and the brains decides that his child that died or his wife that died
needs to be reincarnated,
and he then finds a way to reanimate her or whatever, are we going to have the same point of view? So mine, like I said, it's not about whether it is IVF
ongoing.
or whatever.
I would have cloned my dad if we
already
could.
on ground.
Thank you.
About keeping
People alive by keeping stem cells and things like that.
So it is the point at which we are going to, like, I like that mother nature thing, stop with me. It's the point at which we will get to where the world will now say it have to do. It's just like the Tower where, help me.
The Tower of Babel.
Yes, Babel. Where it's like you are coming, you want to come, Abby, let me cocoa scatter you now.
Abby.
So
which then, so because we are trying to wrap up the conversation, right? God gave us this wisdom, right? We have not answered the question. Are we trying to say that there has to be where we draw the line when it comes to science?
That's what ethics is.
Can I?
Let me take Benga from Lagos and I'll come to you, Norma. Benga, you're live.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you guys for doing an awesome job. I always love to watch your program.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, I think what you guys are discussing today is I don't know what to call it. For me, what matters the most is what happens to the woman that carries the child for the couple.
Okay, the surrogate.
Because she carries the child, it gives birth, then her duty is done. What happens to her emotions, her psyche, her person? And what if along the line she could not give birth anymore, and she can't find someone to do safe for her?
Okay, I get you.
Now come back and collect
I get you. So, like when she
offers herself as a surrogate, then can't birth
so
children.
I think for surrogacy, I'll bring that woman back because I remember that show. She said something that before she even approves of surrogacy, you must have birthed your own children. Yes, you must be a mother. They can't just take a single girl and say, "Come on."
They change their minds later.
Yes, no, there can be complications. So you must.
But you've heard that people change their minds even after all the documents signed.
Yeah.
At the
so
time
she
of
can't
birth.
even. So she needs to be sure that you have gone through that process
had
of
your own kids.
having a child and all of that. But let me hear. No, you're going to say something quickly. Then we start to take some comments.
Okay, I was going to talk about the moral aspect of it all. The truth of it is that, and Uti has aptly elucidated on all of that. By the time you check science it was for a reason. And you ask the question that if God gave us this knowledge, as in why would it be wrong
for us to use
it?
To explore? There are ways that you explore, you know.
Sometimes
God will send you that
you as a human being, you will know that this is no longer about morality. It's now about what I can prove
that I
is
can do.
Possible that I can do, and that's where playing God starts to come into. And when she was talking, it also reminded me of Spider-Man movie.
I said there are plenty movies.
There's so many. And when the man was saying, "The sun in the palm of my hands," so you don't even know when you have moved, deviated from the ecological angle that you followed in trying to solve problems for people to now becoming the demigod that can that has the answers to everything just because you have wealth of knowledge or research or whatever. So it's important for us to and that's where God is very significant, because a lot of people who also do not have the creator mentality go to whatever lengths to do whatever, to prove whatever.
Well, I'm just imagining
there was a movie in the late 80s that Michael Keaton, I think, acted it, called maybe Multiplicity or something, about cloning yourself so you never die. When one starts falling sick, the other one rises up. Same exact DNA, 100%. We're getting there.
So the truth of it is that we as human beings, we need to take a step back. We need to assess situations and be sincere with ourselves. A lot of these things also happen because we have gotten to that point where we have deceived ourselves into believing that we are justified in what we're doing.
Absolutely. Let's quickly take our comments. I was just going to say that this life, God help us. Good evening, ladies. It says, when has Uti become a medical practitioner? Enjoying you ladies live and direct. This is Ade from UK. Welcome back home. We soon collect chocolate.
Which is just an encyclopedia. She knows something about everything.
Our encyclopedia on ways.
She knows something about everything.
Go ahead, Lady.
Thank God I didn't get Daniel today because I
don't worry, nobody gets Daniel today.
Okay. Greetings, ladies. Playing God by man already defined in the Bible. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." So much ability already infused into man from creation. God did not say create Adam. He said make up and kiss and quaff.
Okay. Did you add that part?
Yes. I did.
Who is the message from?
From Benson, sorry.
Okay,
Benson.
So mine is short.
I'm telling you.
You forgot his name.
So this is Austin from Delta. It says, for me, drawing the line, as Uti rightly said, by not trying to play God is important. Nothing wrong with cesarean, but there are no-go areas like sex change, same-sex marriage, justifying it that it is a free world, it is a no-no. But let me ask, if one fails to born, is that suicide or no? As last option, one can go for adoption. My option, please. That's another. Another mindset where not even the adoption. I'm even saying that I think we have the highest population of twins in the world. So because of IVF and all of these things, I say that loosely, but I think I've read that somewhere before.
Okay.
We've also now, technology has given you an option. Cesarean is life-saving. Now it's like, I must have a child. It's not okay to not have a child.
Some even choose cesarean to keep them
quickly.
All right, so this is from Daniel. Don't worry, I'll take your message any day, Daniel.
Yeah,
all right,
okay.
so it says, is IVF and surrogacy morally wrong? I really don't understand why men should get pregnant. A woman should be allowed to take care of a child even after birthing a child. According to my dear beautiful sister Uwa, my sister Uti, you really look beautiful and colorful. Welcome back. I really missed you. My name is Daniel Ilo.
Thank you so much, Daniel. I was just going to say that, how is God looking at all of us?
You know,
with all this drama that is happening, people are forming scientists and all of that.
I'm telling you.
I thank God that we are not even God.
And we don't know what his thoughts are.
Because
I'm sure it's like, see this one. He wants to put 2 dicks on this man.
It takes a lot of magnanimity to see all of this
to
not destroy
and not end
everyone. But that point is coming. But I think God still believes in us in spite of our foolishness.
Absolutely. All right. So thank you so much. I think we've had a fantastic conversation.
You need to talk because we have time.
Dr. Utsi, hello. We've offered you, doctor. Thanks to Ade. Thank you, Little Lady. Thank you, Nama. Now, before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and more importantly, follow all the engagements on social media. Like, share, and invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. Now, if you missed this quote, I think you should take a minute to really listen to it. It said, little souls find their way to you, whether they are from your womb or someone else's womb. So even for those that are saying, oh, I really want to have a child, there are options of adoption, right? There are so many children that they are parentless. Now we can actually help, you don't have to. So that concept of from my loins, from my womb, from all of those things, maybe if we start to do all of those, accepting those options.
We need to ask Father his opinion about that as well.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.
Thank you.